This morning, let's explore a teacher's limitations. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso doing his own imitation of Kilroy. Here we go. Of the Buddha Joy Meditation School, welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you were looking for. This morning we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Luke Skywalker learned to do on Dagobah under the guidance of Yoda, be sure to subscribe and ring this notification bell. This morning we could explore a teacher's limitations that you too could meditate like a Jedi. So if at any time during this live stream you have a question about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there is no need to be shy. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Unless, of course, you're watching a replay, then you'll want to type your question in the comment area below the video. Now I'm going to take a moment to adjust my side monitor, which is a fancy term for my old cell phone. Let's see here. All right. We come now to the second passage of Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones, the final meditation manual attributed to the great Tibetan saint Dzogchen Rinpoche, who imposed this in the late 1800s. Like some persimmons in the autumn, which though inside still unripe, look ripe outside. So let's just stop right there. Doesn't it suck when you're super hungry and it's autumn and you come upon a piece of fruit and you think it looks ripe and it smells ripe and you bite, you sink your teeth into it and it's not ripe? Okay, bear that in mind. I myself am just the semblance of a Dharma practitioner. And since my mind and the Dharma have not mixed, my Dharma teaching will not be up to much. Now, in Tibetan culture, especially at this time, it was not uncommon for people to perform self-deprecation in the name of humility. And I thought that's what humility was until I had the very good fortune to converse with a Christian counselor. This is many decades ago, back in the 80s. And he said self-deprecation is just another form of self-centeredness, like self-aggrandizement. The key, and then he stopped talking, which I found very, very puzzling. And as years wore on, it began to dawn on me that the key to humility was neither self-acclamation nor self-deprecation, but rather eyes off self and sincerely, enthusiastically devotion to the needs of others. Now there's two ways to do that. We can do that foolishly, ignoring our own needs and becoming pretty much a bull in the china shop of other people's lives, but with the best of intentions. Or we can be mindful of our strengths, that we might better serve others. We can be mindful of our needs, that we might meet those needs as best we can, that we might better meet others' needs. And so, in authentic and useful humility, the job is not to metaphorically shoot oneself in one's foot. One's job is not to deliberately not meet one's needs so one can sanctimoniously suffer. That's me doing my melodramatic hand to forehead. But one is aware of oneself, one's strengths and one's needs, but with the overarching purpose of meeting others' needs in the most wonderful way. Well, let me give you a tangible example, if that's okay. I know my weakness. I mnemonics, because of my brain damage, mnemonics are a weak point for me. And learning other languages is a weak point for me. So I know that if those are someone's needs, I really can't help them. If the meeting of someone's needs depends on recall and being a polyglot, they should seek help elsewhere. And if I'm wise, I'm in a position, I'll tell them that. On the other hand, if I know what my strengths are and someone has a difficulty that can be met by an area of my life that it has a strength, for instance, the ability to comprehend cryptic Buddhist texts, I may be able to help them. So that's not a question of pride, this is a question of knowing what my skill set is, that it may be of use to others. Now, if I practice false humility and I say I have no skills, then if there's someone's needs who could be met by skills I pretend I do not possess, I'm not benefiting them, I'm harming them by lying to myself and others about what I'm capable of. So if you were to listen to me talk and say, well, that sounds like a balancing act between being oblivious to your strengths and needs and being obsessed with your strengths and needs, you'd be right. It is a balancing act. Then how is one to do this deal? How is one to master the humility that really benefits others in the most wonderful way? And it all comes back to spiritual practice. In these sadhanas that I lead you through, these practice texts, we always practice silent meditation. 2 silent meditations, in fact. Practice those 2 silent meditations every 12 hours, even for as little as 5 minutes. Practice these 2 silent meditations and you will grow in centered spontaneity. You will find that sweet spot between being toxically scattered or toxically controlling. You'll find that sweet spot where you can relax into centered spontaneity, and from that centered spontaneity, our choices and utterances and deeds can flow effortlessly. That is our best chance of doing the right thing in the right way at the right time. Now, does that guarantee 100%? You'll always feel like you've done the right thing and people around you will always stand up and give you a golf applause? No. Sometimes things you do won't seem wise until hindsight, a day, a year, a decade later. Sometimes you'll make a mistake, but if you persist in being in mindfulness's vulnerability, passivity, viscerality, and spontaneity, and maximize your ability to grow from whatever errors, then that will work out well as well. You might say, that sounds like hard work. It is, but consider the alternative. Being a braggart or being a fool who fails to meet the needs of others. Humans have not one but 2 reward systems. We have a dopamine-oriented reward system that's associated with our so-called reptilian brain, and we have an oxytocin-oriented reward system associated with our so-called mammalian brain. If you just want to get your rocks off, then just listen to your reptilian brain, and you'll have a short but exciting life. If you want a fulfilling, meaningful life, then listen to the drives, many of the drives of your mammalian brain, which says, hey, don't compete, cooperate. Don't be rigid, be flexible. Don't be fearful, be loving. Don't be controlling, be laid back. We already possess the neural architecture to empower us to be a sage, to be a great guy, to be the hero of our neighborhood in a subtle, subtle way. To be not a corporeal superhero, but a spiritual superhero, typified metaphorically by Neo in the last reel of the first Matrix movie. Before we start chanting and meditating, I think it would be best if I spent 52 seconds doing housekeeping. Sing along if you know the lyrics. Every 12 hours, I broadcast a live meditation class without any ads. This channel is supported by the generosity of viewers just like you. With your help, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If you'd like to help out, even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month, then you're welcome to poke around the description area below the video, where you'll find 2 links, one for Patreon and one for PayPal, and where you'll find 2 YouTube buttons, one marked with join and one marked with a currency symbol. Click any one of those and your help would be deeply appreciated. Let me check the time. It is 13 minutes after the hour. Okay, let's chant 6 passages from my adaptation and amplification of the Padmakara Group's translation of Dzogchen Rinpoche's Final Meditation Manual, Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones, written in Tibet in the late 1800s. To recognize all phenomena as being as non-graspable, as a vast empty void is a crucial point of the view. Belief in the graspability of the so-called true and false is liberated into its own non-graspable nature. Free of the tyranny of grasping everything, there is all of dreaded samsara and desired nirvana. Is like the continuum of the Dharmakaya's mastery of awareness and letting go. In the self-liberation of thoughts, recite the 6-syllable mantra. Who is this individual here? This is what we call an archetype of enlightenment. There are many archetypes of enlightenment. They are known in Sanskrit as Deva or Devi. They're known in Tibet as Yidam. To put a sharper point on it, this particular archetype is known in Sanskrit as Vajra Sattva, known in Tibetan as Dorje Sempa, and which translates into English as diamond mind, like diamond strong. And we'll get more into what that means in a few minutes. Do not follow after the object of hatred, watch the angry mind. Anger liberated by itself as it arises is the clear void. In the clear void there is none other than mirror-like wisdom. The clear void is none other than mirror-like wisdom. In the self-liberation of hatred recite the 6-syllable mantra. 2 groups of people. Those who are prone to be rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, competitive, and cruel will view this archetype as a god or a goddess and develop a relationship with this real or imagined entity the way a child would with a parent or a parental figure. which according to the 1 Corinthians 13 actually stunts one's spiritual growth. Those who choose the path of being flexible, loving, laid-back, egalitarian, and cooperative will view the archetype the same way we view an empty closet full of hangers. The hangers are tools upon which to organize our garments. Likewise, the iconography of the archetype serves to help us, serves as a type of palette, an artist's palette, upon which we will create 8 useful similes or metaphors that are integral to our mantra meditation in just a few minutes. Let's continue. Do not chase after the object of pride, watch the self-clinging mind. Self-importance liberated by itself as it arises is primordial voidness. This primordial voidness is none other than the wisdom of essential sameness. In this of liberation of pride recite the 6 syllable mantra. Do not hanker after the object of desire, watch the craving mind. Desire liberated by itself as it arises is bliss void. This bliss void is none other than discerning wisdom. In the self-liberation of desire recite the 6 syllable mantra. Do not follow after the object of jealousy, watch the critical mind. Jealousy liberated by itself as it arises is void intellect. This void intellect is none other than all-accomplishing wisdom. In the self-liberation of jealousy recite the 6 syllable mantra. Quick explanation. In Mahayana Buddhism, so originally, in ancient Buddhism, or Theravada Buddhism, or Proto-Buddhism, there was the idea of 2 mental poisons that formed a duality. There would be dread and desire, also known as hating or craving or shoving or reaching. In time, that developed into 3, which would be dread, desire, and confusion. And confusion developed 2 subdivisions, competitiveness or jealousy, and clinging or pride. And then you end up with 5. That was just the evolution of the teachings over many centuries. And after a while, they developed the idea of the 5 wisdoms to act as a counterpoint to the 5 mental poisons. Those who were rigid and fearful viewed them as antidotes to the 5 poisons. However, the rare, truly insightful, flexible thinking individuals are able to see that actually they're not the antidote. The antidote is the union of mindfulness and meditation. Noticing and releasing that is married to our breath cycle that we're going to explore several minutes from now. And when that mindfulness and meditation is applied to any one of the 5 poisons, those 5 poisons are transmuted, just like the philosopher's stone of yore, that when you touch it to any metal, it becomes gold. So when we are able to notice and let go of hate, it becomes a mirror-like wisdom. When we apply the wisdom, that same process, and through that same process, desire becomes discerning wisdom. Confusion becomes the wisdom of the basic space of all phenomena. Jealousy or competitiveness becomes all-accomplishing wisdom. And pride or clinging becomes equalizing wisdom. And I hope that clears up any confusion that could arise. Let's continue. Do not just take for granted, not just forged by confusion, look at the nature of competing and clinging themselves. Those of thoughts liberated by themselves as they arise or awareness void. This awareness void is none other than the wisdom of the absolute expanse. In the self-liberation of competing and clinging, recite the six-syllable mantra. Fabulous. We've completed that. So, quick like a buddy, I'm going to check for questions and invite you to join me at this morning's primary practice text. Excuse me, I must hose my nose. And I'm back, and thank you for your patience. Let us begin with meditation's loving motivation. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, liberation for all. So we come now to our mantra work. We're going to divide our mantra work. So take two. We come now to 8 mantra exercises. The second 4 pertain to the wisdom of letting go. The first 4 pertain to love. We're going to begin with an exercise in moving, in freeing ourselves from elitism. Through the cause and effect of my practice of love and letting go, may each sentient being of each world now practice with me in unison. Let us explore the meaning. What does the mantra mean? Om I invoke the Binsa diamond-like strength of a Sato mind well trained in love and letting go, supplicating with whom may love and letting go be mastered by all. What are we to do with the mantra? As we chant the mantra, it could feel as if diamond rays were emitting from a thumnosas horizontal six-syllable mantra rosary at our heart. Lavishing all man's communication, bodies, and circumstances with wisdom, love, health, and good fortune, centered and spontaneous. This seems like a good opportunity to edit. The screen has gone kerflooey. I will tend to it momentarily and return you safe and sound to the Shire of Frodo Baggins. Lavishing all minds, communication, bodies, and circumstances with joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe good fortune, centered and spontaneous. I can't stress enough how important it is to physically relax while chanting the mantra. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Oops, that's odd. Aha. Well, that's an editing opportunity. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. There are two ways to view this mantra work. Some people view mantra work as the primary practice, and some of the meditation is just a garnish on the side of your plate, like a piece of parsley that you might find at a diner. There are others who feel that no, the mantra work is just a preparatory practice for the all-important purpose of silent meditation. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. After many decades on this journey, I have come to be a member of the second camp. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Members of the first camp are very rigid and superstitious, and they feel they have to bribe real or imagined entities with offerings, real or imagined, and in order to get what they want. And there are a few of us who would disagree. Whoops, look at Dad. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato, Om Benza Zato. As promised, we come to the second half of our mantra work, or we bring mantra contemplation into the path of wisdom, of the wisdom of letting go. Sadly, over the centuries, much confusion has developed upon the subject, so let's clarify what is meant by emptiness or voidness. Together. May I let go of all circumstances, bodies, communication, and minds, as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Notice, we're not saying that everything around us is an empty void. We're saying that we can let go of them. We're using emptiness as a figure of speech to help us let go of them. It's a figure of speech, hence the phrase as if. Super important. Let's continue. Now, you might say, well, what's a real-world example of a non-graspable vast empty void? And that is explored in the second page. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be non-graspable to the hand. Why do I say the infinite azure sky is an illusion? Because if you ask an astrophysicist, they would tell you the sky is not infinite. It is finite. It's large, compared to a grain of sand, but it is finite compared to the entirety of the solar system. Occasionally, I will deconstruct similes and metaphors to keep my more literal-minded friends happy. Let's continue. Remember, relax into the mantra recitation. So our experience of letting go depends on us relaxing in harmony with our out-breath. Although the phrase mantra meditation is popular, this is actually more mantra contemplation, and our contemplations are taught in the second and first folds of the Eightfold Path. Having completed the 8 mantra exercises, we now perform 4 final contemplations that are also use the pattern of a rhetorical question. During these 4 exercises, we're going to play with melting as a metaphor of impermanence to help us to leapfrog over the tyranny of our clinging tendencies. And we're going to use absorption as a metaphor of interdependence to help us to leapfrog over the tyranny of our competitive tendencies. How could all places blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this body? So, clearly this is not a doomsday wish, this is a series of metaphors. How could all bodies blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this communication? How could all speech blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into this mind? How could all minds blissfully melt into a rainbow light that absorbs into infinite emptiness? Now, let us start with our first of two silent meditations. We're going to begin by relaxing into the nature of bliss. What if mindfulness was as simple as silently and mentally reciting feeling this during each inhalation? And what if meditation was as easy as silently and mentally reciting relaxing in harmony with each exhalation? Why would we do that? Because in each inhalation, during each inhalation, we access the sympathetic nervous system that supports the sensory acuity that allows us to perceive sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and the like, as well as emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. When this perception is practiced vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and spontaneously, then we'll find that the only label we need ever use is simply the pronoun this. Well, what are we to do with all that which we notice? During each exhalation, we inadvertently access our parasympathetic nervous system, which supports both our physical relaxation as well as our mental release, that we might release our habitual resistance to the presence of what we hate, the absence of what we crave, and the loss of that to which we cling. It's 39 minutes after the hour. Let's meditate. Let us now relax into the non-graspable nature of awareness. May all beings have the joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe boon of diamond minds, mythical mind, speech for man lot. May I liberate all beings by mastering the Eightfold Path through relying on Lord Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May all beings like Diamond Mind Master, being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness, flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May all beings like Diamond Mind master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate all others. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. At this very moment, for the peoples and the nations of the earth, may not even the names disease, famine, war, suffering be heard. Rather may their kind conduct merit wealth and prosperity increase, and may supreme good fortune and well-being always arise for them. Beginning with Kuntu Zangpo and Great Dorje Chang down to my own kindest Lama. Whatever aspirations they have made to benefit beings, may I accomplish them all. Disassociation, depression, and meditation, as well as chant and meditate some more. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy, and if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.